Okay. So just run a plane over there to get it flat enough to get the face plate on there. It's a big lump that's slightly unbalanced. There's lots of cracks in here, so we're going to take this nice and slow. Okay, we're going to use the Crown Cryo ball gouge. It's worth noting that although people say you shouldn't wear gloves when turning, these are fingerless gloves and they're quite tight fitting, so there is very little chance of these getting caught and your hands getting dragged into the work. The reason I'm wearing the gloves is because A, it's cold out here, but also when the chips start flying they can be a little bit painful. So stand back out the way, slowly increase the speed. That's about 600 RPM. All we're going to do is just take the corners off. Nice light cuts. We're going to move the rest. Need to continually move the rest as we're turning. Just make sure that it's not knocking anything, and we're working over the centre of the rest. Quite a few splits in here. This timber might turn out to be unusable, but we'll have a look see. Push cut into the centre. Okay, so shaped, sanding sealed the outside. I'm going to just take the flat off the top, drill a hole in here. That's the depth stop for me, so I know how deep I need to go, and we should just make a start on the front. There's some tear out here as we came round that corner, so I'll try and address that as well. We shall see what happens next. The first cut will just be to clean the face up. Well, as you can see from the dark lines on the timber there was a fair old crack in the timber, and that's probably why the edge of the bowl let go. We'll glue it back together using some tight bond, leave it 48 hours and we'll come back to it. There's enough thickness on the wall to allow it to do that. If it had been a thin walled form, we would have chucked it in the bin and had to start again. So that's me done for the day. So this is 48 hours later. We've let the glue set and go hard, and I'm just reshaping the outside of the form just to blend those lines back in where we did the gluing. We'll do exactly the same on the inside of the bowl after we've finished the outside. So we just rattled through the sanding. Now this has had a single coat spray cellulose sealer on it, and now going to use the cut and polish just to denib the cellulose sealer, give it a deeper shine. Some of which we'll have to do by hand because of the shape of the beast. So we're running at about 900 RPM now. Just going to buff off the cut and polish. Keep the rag moving. See that we're starting to build a shine now, even with the odd shape. All you can do is just stop, buff those areas by hand that you can't get to. I would usually use the chestnut safety cloth for this, as it's a bit thicker and doesn't wear as quickly, but still tears. Unfortunately, I've got to put an order in, so white kitchen towel is second best. I use white because it doesn't leave, there's no colour that could transfer onto the timber. There we are. Now I'm going to finish this using the buffing system. Before we buff it, we're just going to take that tenon off the bottom. And because this is a funny shape, it'll be difficult to grip it with the coal jaws. You could probably hold it with the coal jaws holding on the inside of the rim here, but having spent all this time making it look pretty, don't want to ruin that. by having an accident with the coal jaws. I don't want to put too much pressure on here because this cone drive will be able to split the fibres, but we need to be able to hold it. Alright, turn the speed down, slowly bring the speed up. So we're not lashing the cut, we're riding the bevel, we make one final pass, so bring the bevel to rub, open the flute slightly to make that cut. So we're putting a nice little concave on here. So that's a couple of mil across. If you feel confident and you want to go a bit smaller, that's entirely up to you. But I will stop there. This is a flush cut saw that I got from Amazon. Not Amazon, Axminster. And the beauty of these saws is that along with a flexible blade, the pitch of the teeth is such that they don't mark the grain, so you can cut the nib off without marking the base of the bowl. There we go. And then the rest of that there we are, that's what we're using. The rest of that we'll just sand. So we'll time lapse through that because you don't want to see me sanding again. There's been enough of that.
Well, for some reason we lost the recording of Andy sanding, but I'm sure you've seen enough sanding for one day. And these are just a few photos to show the finished bowl. We'll keep this one, we won't pass it on because of that hairline crack, shall we say. But that's the Judas bowl or Resurrection bowl, whichever title you like. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.